Hey guys, it's Should You Die Summon time as usual, and this one's a freaking doozy, cause oh my gosh, it's a lot happening right now. This is probably the best summoning weekend we've ever had. I think previously it was the last Valentine's Day, which is where Lust and Arrogance, two S tier heroes, Arrogance even being SSS, and then we had Silas and Vierna, the best duo in Watcher of Realms. And that was an insane banner weekend, and we were getting a lot of really good banners around that time. And now we have it, but with a top 3 ancient banner in the game as well, which is crazy. So, this is the best banner weekend of all time, but I still say walk a bit cautiously. Summon cautiously. You don't want to overdo it this weekend for a couple reasons I will elaborate on in a second. Do you want to break from the ads? Oh wait, that's the wrong ad read. Sorry. This video is sponsored by SmileOne. So SmileOne is the official third-party payment platform for the game and has quite a few benefits for you to use them. So number one, and the big one, is that you get a permanent discount on all W gold you buy. W gold then being used to buy stuff in game, so you're overall saving money compared to buying it in the game. And then you also get some benefits, like there is going to be a top-up event between the September 13th to 24th, where you can get rewards based on certain milestones that you reach. And if you want to support me, then you can click my affiliate links down below. As you can see right here, we have the thing open. You just click my links, go over here, and then you can buy whatever, and it helps me out a little bit. Thank you to SmileOne for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to the rest of it. But I think what I will start with is the banners themselves. How good are they? How important are they for your account? I'm going to try to cover as much as I can, but if I miss something that your account is with, then I apologize. Now, first of all, for this banner and this banner, they will both be rare summons, but the Silas Vierna banner will also allow divines. But this one is a limited banner, which means no divines. The way this one works is you do 250 summons and you're guaranteed to get Lust, and that's just how it goes. Now, the question being, if I'm missing a hero, should I pull? Answer is always yes when it comes to these two. These are two of the best duos in the game. Even if you don't think you'll need them, I promise you your account has to have all 4 of these heroes. I cannot understate that. First, we got Silas, the best marksman in the game, I would say. He's good everywhere. He has some of the strongest single target damage. He ignores defense with his defense penetration. He is insanely good, but he's kind of capped if you do not have Vierna. Because the way that his Lost Love, his bond skill, so if you have the other hero, in this case Vierna, who's the other one on this banner, if you do not have them, he does half the damage he does if you do have them. Because when you unlock Vierna, and you have Silas on the account, when you use Silas, you end up doing 2 hits instead of 1 on his ultimate, and his ultimate hits like a freaking truck. Like, my Silas will hit for over 200k without a Piercer Lord per hit, and he does it twice. If I didn't have Vierna, he'd do it once. It's double damage. That is insane. Vierna, of course, is not a slouch of a hero, but her main purpose right now in late game content and late game accounts is purely to buff Silas. If you are earlier in the game, you still really want her because she's an amazing AoE mage, and it is somewhat hard to get AoE mages in this game, at least the legendary ones, and she will carry you through Gear Dungeon 1. Gear Raid 1, she'll carry you through those things. That is mostly what she's there for. I think mage content is just, there isn't a lot of it in this current state of the game compared to like boss content, but she's still very good for that reason. She has an execute, which is really sick and does really good AoE damage. I'm not going to elaborate too much. You could read her kit if you would like. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here is to tell you guys if you should summon. So this banner, if you do not have both of them, you should be pulling on it. That's straight up. Now we get to the other one, which causes some issues with this banner being really good, And then we have this banner being really good because we all have a finite amount of summons. So to start off, I'm going to talk about arrogance and then we're going to go into lust. So arrogance is debatably the best fighter in the game if you exclude like Ardea or Valderon purely because Valderon has a good Lord skill or a decent Lord skill. But if you exclude that, Arrogance is one of the best fighters in the game. He hits air. He has the extended range, which is fairly rare for fighters. He has one of the strongest ultimates in the game. He swaps between rage damage, as you can see with these sides, and he also does really good single target, especially if he's close. But it's still the really good damage no matter what. He does a ton of I'm just going to keep on saying, he does a frick ton of damage. He does so much damage. He's good literally everywhere you could even place a fighter. I use him all the time. Him and Silas are two of my most used heroes in the entire game. He's insanely, insanely good. And his bond skill that Lust gives, which means that you have to have Lust, as well as him, because obviously she buffs him. He gains 15% more attack during the effect of Hellfire. Attack is so important in this game. It is far, far more important than crit damage for everything but Guild Boss 1. And this just makes him so much stronger. It reads like it could be like a 15% increase, or maybe not even a 15% increase. It ends up turning out, with the damage calculations of this game, like you could just imagine it as a blanket 15% increase. Something else to note about Arrogance, and this also applies to Silas, is they both have insanely good A1, A3, and A5s, so it is worth getting Awakenings for them, but I will elaborate on that soon. But we got to get to the woman of the hour, Lust. There is a reason people have been waiting for Lust for over 6 months. Her last release was on Valentine's Day, this year, Valentine's Day, and we thought she would only come back next Valentine's Day, but she's coming back a lot sooner than we thought, and Lust is so important. There's a reason why people have been asking for her to come back, and that is for a few reasons. So number one, the most important reason, is she gives Arrogance a bond skill, which is really good. Maybe that's not the most important reason, but that's what I think of her as. But outside of that, she's a very competent unit in a couple other ways. So number one, her damage output is really good. Number two, her range is sick. Number three, she buffs nightmare units. Number four, she has crazy awakenings. Number five, she's limited, so you can only ever get her on this banner. It is impossible to get her in any other way. You know, there's a lot of reasons why Lust is so good, so important, and so desired by many. She has a really good kit. She's really good in a lot of content. Mainly the guild bosses, but she is still quite usable in other pieces of content, and Lust overall is just very good. Now, if you do not have Lust, I am going to be straight up honest. If you do not have her, you have to go for her. You have to. I mean, you could be missing Silas and Vienna. You could really want them. You have to go for Lust. That is my perspective here. Because Lust, we do not know when she will be back. If, say, in the future, you decide not to pull on this, you're missing a Silas and a Vienna, you pull Silas, Vienna banner, and then you pull, like, both of them, sure, that could be worth it. But in another 6 months, you're going to have all of these heroes, and you're not going to have Lust, and you're going to be really, really struggling in a lot of different areas just because you don't have her. Sure, there are other more important units, like I said, Silas and Vienna are more important. They just are, right? But Lust will not come back. These two will. And these two are always pullable. So even if this is the best chance to pull on it, they are not always pullable. They are always pullable, and Lust is not, which is the main reason why I say you have to go for Lust. So just keep that in mind. But before I kind of elaborate a bit more, this is going to be a long ass should you summon. I will go into future banner, speculation in a second. I think before I get caught, or carried away, I should say, I should probably talk about this banner, and that is the Ancient Summoning, and then I'll go back to the other banners because those are really the highlight here. So this banner is a top 3 Ancient banner. The reason why it is not top 2 is because Ingrid banner is better purely just because Ingrid is so much better than pretty much every other lord in the game, except for Praetus. The Praetus Jira banner is the best ancient banner we've ever had. And then I would say the Ingrid banner, purely carried by Ingrid, because Thalen's not that useful. And then we have the Yovar banner, because the Yovar banner has 2 of the better or the best units in the game. We got Yovar, who in my opinion is the 3rd best lord in the game, right after Ingrid and Praetus, obviously. I do think he is better than Valdorn. He is more usable, more applicable, and more important for a lot of things. So keep that in mind. I have him. I use him in almost every content in the game. He's insanely good. I will be pulling on this banner in the hopes of getting another one for BP, for Guild v Guild, but that's just me, right? You know, that doesn't really apply to most people. But your base copy is really important. And then, speaking of base copies being important, Carnelian is one of the best endgame supports in the game. Earlier on, you're not going to find a lot of uses for Carnelian, but later on you're going to realize that she is godlike for Guild Boss 2, Gear Dungeon 2. She's really, really, really good in Guild v Guild. She's a very, very competent healer, even though she doesn't really heal that much, because her main gimmick is she puts these orbs on, and when she puts the orbs on, she puts unyielding on them when they die. So essentially, it's giving them another chance at life, and the reason why she's so damn good is because it's very easy for her to reapply them, which makes her just absolutely freaking insane, because the unyielding will get torn off, the orb will get torn off, she'll attack another like 7 times, let's say, and boom, the orb is back on, they cannot die again, right? So you can go through periods where you're essentially unkillable, and especially for Guild Boss 2, let me go over to Guild Boss 2, Carnelian is so important, because if you have Carnelian, you do not need to stun her in any way. You do not need to care as much about dying in everything, and you can really just close your eyes and, you know, truck along in the 3rd phase, in the 1st phase, and she even helps negate the 2nd phase. She's probably the most oppressive and the most insanely overpowered unit for Guild Boss 2. Obviously, you don't need her. As you can see, this guy at the top here didn't end up using them, of course, but you get the point, right? If you scroll down, you're going to see just Carnelians over and over again. Sometimes they'll use Helga, sometimes they won't. I know that they do not need Helga, but some people still like using her anyways because she's great. But like Carnelian is just absolutely insane, right? So for this banner, I would say it is a little hard to judge. I will give a couple situations where I would and where I wouldn't. Number 1, if you do not have a legendary Piercer Lord in any way, you have to pull on this, in my opinion. If you think you are saving for an Ingrid banner or a Pope banner, definitely do so. I will say it is very possible we get a Pope or Ingrid banner soon, so keep that in mind. That is a very, very important thing to note, because the update delay is really effing up the banners. We were supposed to get a Gon Sargak banner that is impossible to get. But we have banners like this, and if you guys remember, we had an Ingrid Thalen, and we had a Pope Jira, and recently, you might remember, we actually got the Valderon Claw banner. And while we didn't have the Valderon Claw banner before, we had a Valderon banner like 2 months ago, and we already got another one. So I do have reason to believe that we could have Praetus banner or Ingrid banner fairly soon, because those were in a similar time frame. So if you are really, really holding out for those heroes, I will say, as much as I really want to encourage you guys to pull on this, because it's 2 of the best heroes in the game, I will say, be careful. That is what this whole video is going to be, is these are insanely good banners, and I'm really trying to emphasize the point that these are some of the best banners in the game in like every way, but it's hard to tell you guys to, because we do not know. I know that's supposed to be my whole channel, or at least a lot of the channel is, hey guys, take care, or hey guys, you know, you gotta be careful because these banners are coming soon. In this case, I do not know. Okay, we will get some information maybe on Monday, on the next week, or maybe Friday, or maybe Saturday, you know? But by then it's going to be too late for a lot of you guys. If you want to save to see if we get any information, go for it. But I know that that is too much to ask of you guys. So just be careful. These are some amazing, amazing heroes. If you have Pope, if you have Ingrid, you do not have these guys, go for it. Go for it. These are two of the best heroes in the game. I will continue to say it. But you have to be careful. If you're close to Lord Pity, it's up to you. You know, if you're not, it's up to you. I would say this is a great, great banner to pull on without Lord Pity. I would say what I will be doing for this is if you have some of the heroes that could happen, like Kratos and Ingrid, go for this banner. If you do not have either, if you are fresh on Pity or you are very far away from Pity, Pity is 200 or so. For Ancients, if you think that you are maybe around like 0 to 100 or 0 to 120 or something like that, I would pull on this purely because Carnelian is so good and you really want to try to maximize the chances. But I would say if you are holding out for a better hero, even though your VAR is SSS tier, definitely do so. So that is me just done talking about the Ancient banner. I know this is a long video. Please bear with me, guys. So that brings us to the other banners and what I think will be coming, which makes me a little hesitant to say toss every summon away. So if you've been saving for a little while, I know not a lot of people have. It has been very hard to save. We've been getting a lot of good banners. I will say, you do not need to keep saving if you do not want to. Like I said, you kind of have to have one of each of these. But we also have to realistically talk about the elephant in the room, which is Kagiri. So Kagiri, where the hell is he? Where is Zeres? Where is Numera? Where is Beelzebub? Or Bubba, as I like to call him. Where is Xena? Where is Tallulah? Where's the other Arrogance banner? Stuff like that. And that is kind of a hard question because we do not know. When the update goes live, I promise you they will roll those out. And if we are not ready, we will not be able to get Kagiri. And Kagiri is really, really good. Is he better than Lust? I do not think so. I will obviously have a video on that fairly soon. If I can, I'll do my best for you guys because I don't have a test server currently. But, like, you know, Lust is better. Lust is more important. She buffs one of the best fighters in the game who you're going to use everywhere. She buffs Nightmare units because if you didn't know, she hits them and she gives them rage, which is really important. And that helps a ton for a lot of really important content, like guild bosses. If you have not hit 50k guild boss 1, both Lust and Arrogance will help you a ton, and Silas and Vierda will help you a ton if you do not have them. I would say go for Lust above Kagiri. Kagiri will be god tier for guild boss 2. He is going to be around Lust level. Is it going to be the same? No, but you will want to use them both together. You guys should go for Lust before Kagiri if you do not have Lust, of course. Now, if you do have Lust, because Lust obviously has Amazing Awakenings, which I haven't talked about yet. If you do not have Lust, you have to consider a couple things. So number one is if you have Lust from before, you will get another chance to get her guaranteed. So the same guaranteed rules will apply even if you have copies already, right? So that is 250. Now, I will talk about pity swapping in a second as well. So I know some of you guys are probably yelling at the screen like, pity swap, talk about pity swap. Bear with me, guys. It's a lot to talk about, okay? I'm trying to reason through this. So number one, Lust's A1 to A4 are not that crazy. They are really good, but they are not crazy enough to warrant wailing for them, okay? Now the A1, the most important thing about the A1 to note is if you have Torador, the A1 does not matter in 99% of situations. Because if you didn't know, Torador inflicts damage reduction 20% in every basic attack. He is always going to be down in Guild Boss 2, which is the most important place for Lust. And Guild Boss 1, he's going to be cycling a lot. And at that point, that damage reduction, or that defense reduction, sorry, it's not going to make that big of a difference. which means that if you have Torador, the A1 is pointless in my eyes. I think it is a waste of summons, especially with so much stuff on the horizon that we really have to be rational about. You have to be very careful about this A1, right? Um, and then if you do not have Torador, you will not have many avenues to getting that debuff out for a lot of content. The only one is really going to be Ares. Now, if you think you are going to use Ares until the end of time, until you pull a Torador, you do not need to get the A1. But I will say, if you do not have Torador, I would say it is worth it. I would go for the A1 if I do not have Torador. And I will also say, as an A0 Lust owner, I will be going for the A1 because I have a lot of summons. I will be completely honest. And I think that it is worth getting that guaranteed, just in the hopes that I'm still playing when she comes back, right? And then I could maybe get her A5. But that's not important, right? The A2, who cares? The A3, this A3 is pretty mid. I wouldn't even consider it. And the A5 is one of, if not the best A5 in the game. It does far more than increasing her damage by 50% because it goes from 4 lashes to 6 lashes in her ultimate. This does a couple things. It increases the rage gen output and increases her damage. It does a lot of different things. And Lust having that makes her able to do some crazy damage. And I cannot understate how crazy the damage is. Look, almost 300 mil on Guild Boss 1. Hex is the de facto leader, like number one best Guild Boss 1 hero in the game, and Lust still can rival a little bit, or at least get fairly close. And this is just the power of that A5. This Lust, like, these Lusts are not in the range of Laurel or anything, because I don't even know if they're using Laurel, right? Which is insane. If you go over here, obviously we're pretty early in the week, so you can't really see. But these A5 Lusts, Phoebu's A5 Lust can get about 700 or 800 million, which is insane, right? Her A5 is absolutely cracked out. Arrogance also has some crazy A3 and A5s, but he can come back, right? So Lust, if you are close to this, or you have 2 to 3,000 summons, which is what it takes to get base copy to the A5, I would say it is worth it. If you are a big whale, but just discount the awakenings if you think you do not have enough that you want to go for her. So that is that part done. Now we have to talk about a few more things. Don't worry, guys. I will end the video very soon. I know I am kind of rambling, but this is a big deal, okay? So, Divines, I would not summon unless you are desperate. Obviously, if you need them, if you want the awakenings, or you're close to Divine Pity or anything, definitely pull them here. And then here, what I would do personally for the Silas Fiona banner is if you have, let's say, 200 to 300 summons for the Lust banner, what I would do is there is a thing in this game called pity swapping. Yes, this could be its own video. No, I am not going to make a video on it. There's this thing called pity swapping in this game where you go to your summoning record, you go back to the last Lego you got. As you can see, I went 10, 20, 30, and 1 since my last Lego, so I am at 31. So what you can do is the pity in this game starts at 200. What I could do is summon about 170, because I've summoned about 30. If I summon another 170, I would be at 201. I would personally do like 260, or I mean 160, sorry, to get to about 191. And then what you want to do, because you do all of those on the Lust banner, it adds 191 to the guaranteed pity, which ends at 250, where you guaranteed get the hero. I would stop there, swap over to Silas Vierna banner, pop the pity because you're guaranteed to get a Lego, and then you're going to get, hopefully, Silas or Vierna, whichever one you want. If you don't, that's a-okay. And then you swap back and you get that guaranteed within 50, let's say. That is a better deal. That is what I would advise if you need both banners. Now, What I would just advise overall, let me just cap the whole thing. I don't want to keep on yapping because this video is already 23 freaking minutes long, and I don't think I can edit out anything. So shoot. Um, I will say to kind of end it off, what I would advise is if you do not have lust, go for lust. I think she's more valuable to everyone's account than Kagiri. Still the best limited in the game. And then what I would do after that is consider, do you need to pity swap for the Silas or Vierna? Do you need a Silas or Vierna? Do you want awakenings on your Silas? Because Silas has crazy awakenings. His A3 is amazing. His A5 is really good. Do you want his A1's pretty good too? Do you want to pull for your Silas awakenings? You could do that pity swap and get that going. If you need Silas or Vierna, I would definitely say you should pull for them. But obviously it depends on your account, depends which one you're missing, depends on where you're at, depending on how many summons you have. If you only have a couple summons, let's say if you have 60 summons, if you have 100 summons, or even less, what would I do? I don't know. I think pick a banner that you really, really want and just try to pull on them and see what you get. Or you could also save for Kagiri. So, Kagiri obviously will be coming eventually. I think after running this limited again, they are probably going to wait to release Kagiri, but I have been wrong before, and I cannot say for sure when he will be coming, so you just gotta be careful. So, I know it's a pretty ambiguous answer. I would say look at where your account is. Do you have lust? Do you have arrogance? Do you have Silas? Do you have Vierna? If the answer is yes to 2 of those, or yes to 3 of those, or something, then I would just look at the one you're missing and go for that one. Are you wanting to go for A5 Lust? Are you wanting to save everything for A5 Kagiri? Ask yourselves these questions depending on where you are in the game and come to your own conclusions. So I'm hoping what I said can maybe help you come to those decisions. Yovar Carnelian banner, like I said, if you are close to Lord Pity and you do not have Praetus or Ingrid, or you're wanting one of them a lot more than Yovar, you could save. That is under the assumption that you have a Raka. If you do not have a Raka or Yovar, I would pull for this, but it's up to your account once again. There's too many questions, too many unknowns in the future to really talk about this. Also, if you are struggling to get Moss shards, you could also pull to get more Moss shards because you should be able to get a lot, 20 to 30 just from this event. So if you need that, obviously you could go for that as well. But like I said, it depends 100% on your account. There's no other way to put it. I'm just trying to help y'all out. So as best I can, it's hard to communicate these things when there's like, I would have to look at everyone's account individually, which is crazy. So I can't do that, guys. So I hope this helps at least a little bit, and in some way you guys were educated or came to a conclusion. And if you didn't, ask a question in the comments, and I hope someone helps you out. But that's it for me. I don't really have anything else more to add. Probably the longest Should You Summon I've ever done. Hopefully this was not too unbearable for you guys. So, yeah. Now, I appreciate everyone who made it to the end of the video so much. Thank you guys a bunch. And, very exciting week. I will be doing some viewer summons. That'll be sick. And I'm very excited. I'm really, really hoping that I can get my A3 Silas I've been looking for a while. Maybe some more Arrogance Awakenings, some Lust Awakenings. I don't know. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save for A5 Kagiri, just because I cannot get Lust A5, even though I would love her A5. And because I get Content Creator drops a lot, I will be completely transparent. It is a lot. I'm hoping I could get that, but, we'll see how things turn out, right? But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much. And thanks for listening to my rambling. That's it from me, Destined, signing out.